We are back with our Thursday Rethink Fit segment, and we have a lot of special guests on today, some familiar faces that you might recognize. So here I have Jeffrey and Mindy, of course, and then we have Tony Priddle and Charlie, and I would just say Panky, but you also might know him as Carl. So we've got the whole crew here today. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So what we're going to do today, for anyone who's new here, I see a lot of newbies in the chat and definitely some people that I love to see in the chat as well. And so if you do not know what this segment is about, this was something that was started by Jeff and Mindy. And Rethink Fit is the idea of reimagining, rethinking the word fitness and what that means for you. Because so often we think of fitness as related to the external appearance, and it goes so much more beyond that, into the inside appearance. And so we've been doing shows now for probably about 6 months on here pertaining to this, inviting on various experts, issuing challenges, and inviting all of you onto the show to issue challenges, to take the challenges and create this sort of choose your own adventure of Rethink Fit items. So we wanted to sort of bring some worlds together here and get Panky and Charlie on. Of course, Tony Priddle has a mental skills segment with me on Wednesday, so he's our expert today, and just bring everyone together to sort of, make this a community, because that's what it is. So really bring these worlds in conjunction and sort of have Panky and Charlie share their stories and how they pertain to Rethink Fit. So I'm going to kick things off with speaking to Panky, because he's embarking on a very difficult journey of quitting smoking. So Panky, talk to me a little bit about your smoking history and sort of what's led you to decide to do this difficult thing and let go of your smoking habit.
Well, you can probably tell I'm quite a little bit fidgety, so that's a good indication. I've been smoking for I've been smoking since I was 16, so I've been smoking about 15 odd years, pretty heavily. So I was smoking normal TaylorMade for about 7-8 years, and smoking tobacco. I was smoking quite a lot of tobacco, so it was costing a lot of money. It was really bad for my health, and obviously recently everybody on Tsu already knows our family has just slightly grown somewhat. So I think health in general, I've been kind of thinking recently quite a lot about quitting smoking, but I never really kind of pushed myself to do it. I think I don't know, I don't really know what kind of pushed me this moment in time to quit. Like I say, I've been trying to think about it, I've been trying to quit. I just haven't really had it in me to do so. I just it was kind of more of an impulsive thing where I just kind of wanted to just give it a go, I suppose. I've never tried it before, so I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. And I think the last couple of days, I think this is day 4. This is day 4. Yeah. I think over the last few days, I've been posting on Tsu alongside with some of the Rethink Fit hashtags. And I think I've had quite a lot of good responses from other users on Tsu. So some of the friends that I've already made from all over, they've been really encouraging. And I generally feel that might actually help me along the way, because I don't really want to look like a failure in front of thousands of people, do I? So that's kind of where I'm at now. We're only on day 4. I'm getting a bit fidgety. I haven't broken anybody's neck yet, so let's get some noise. So we're doing well so far. Currently, I'm not actually cold turkey quit smoking. That's it, because I probably would go nuts. So my idea is to obviously start with a vape. So I am obviously off of tobacco in general. I have cut down onto the vape, where I can then decrease, lower, and then quit completely. That's the plan, hopefully. Fingers crossed.
So I want to just sort of dive in and say that if anyone does want to quit smoking, they should talk to their health provider, or you can even message RethinkFIT here on Tsu for specialists and referrals, because this isn't something that you should embark on alone. And I see the Owl Queen on the chat is saying best of luck on quitting, and that Nicorette products really helped her so much when she did that. So there's many ways to do this, many tools that you can reach for. And I wanted to go to Tony and sort of get his first thoughts on sort of something, pertaining to those first steps in looking at this quitting smoking. Tony, what do you think in terms of the things that we've talked about, you and I, and sort of things that might be helpful to Panky?
Well, there's a couple of things Panky's already talked about, which is really interesting. He's taking a route of social responsibility, so he's putting it out there, and there's actually something more to live up to, not just himself, and it puts a little bit more pressure on himself to live up to his word, because he's let a lot of people look at what he's doing, which can be a really, really good thing in trying to give up a particular habit like this. And there's two things when it comes to cigarettes. We've got the chemical addiction, so the addiction to nicotine, and then the addiction to the habit. So there's two things that we've got to work on here as well. But the first thing I'd say to anyone who is trying to develop a new habit is not to be too hard on yourself, because I've just recently moved house and had different really small things that you had to do around the house because of the people in the house, and they were really difficult little habits to change, and you had to concentrate on them so much to get the job done. So when we're talking about something like cigarette smoking, a 15-year habit or pattern, and mixed with a chemical as well, first thing we need to be doing is not to be too hard on ourselves.
And I think, Panky, one of the things that I heard you say that I'm really excited to hear about too is, in addition to this social sort of responsibility, right, doing this on social media, being accountable because you're announcing it in front of all these people. Not only are you obviously gathering the support from a community, which, as we can see in the chat from Heather already, you have someone who's like, I did this, you can too. And I know what this experience is like myself, but in a different way. So I don't drink anymore. And I counted days from alcohol. And one of the biggest things for me 100% was having a community of people who had done it, who were encouraging me, who were there to hold me accountable in addition to myself. So I also just say I'm here as a resource. I may not have counted days from cigarettes, but I've definitely done it. And actually today is 9 months, no alcohol. Exactly.
Well done.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, I think engaging a community, gathering that support is so, so, so helpful. And you mentioned the fact that you had started to do the challenges, that some of the challenges that we've been issuing here on RethinkFIT. Can you talk about any one or two in particular that you've tried and maybe have worked for you?
Not really. It's only it's only been 3 days. To count the challenges off the top of my head, probably it wouldn't be too easy, especially when I've got my phone on Zoom. So
you're good. So, but you are looking at some of our hashtags, our challenges.
I am, yes.
And you're going to be doing that. So just to explain to anyone who's watching who's like, wait, what are you talking about? Let me add a little bit of insight. So essentially, we've been doing all kinds of challenges on this show. And obviously, Panky and your crew have also been issuing challenges. So the ones that we've been doing have pertained more to this idea of rethinking fit and sort of this wellness space. So I'll just list a couple, right? We did 5-minute mindfulness. where you sort of just take a moment, put down everything and sit with yourself. So that's something that you could do. You could do the Take Your Power Back challenge. You could do the Get Outside challenge or the Forest Bathing challenge, where you sort of go out and just look up at the trees and sort of connect to nature. So there's all of these different things that we've sort of issued as things to try, right? Like, not everything's meant to work. Not everything will resonate with every single individual, but they're just ways for you to take action, right? To feel like you're doing something for yourself, something different than what you've done in the past, and to figure out what does feel good for you. So with these challenges, and this is an invitation to everyone that's watching, we want all of you to take them and to document your journey with them. And, you know, it doesn't really matter so much about the photo, though the photos are great, or if you make a video, that's great too. But we really want to hear about the experience. So if you do something like the Forest Bathing Challenge, like, yeah, go outside, look up, take a picture of those trees, and then tell us, like, what did it make you feel? Or if you did this for 30 days straight, like, write in the caption, what was that experience like for you? I specifically am looking for people who are taking these challenges to come on this show and talk about their experiences. So this is sort of, you know, the culmination of everything, and Panky and Tony and Charlie will all be issuing their own challenges as well, so that you guys can partake in those and sort of pick and choose what excites you. So moving into Charlie, I know, Charlie, you are making a sort of career change, right? You're going back to college to study mental health.
Indeed.
So talk to me a little bit about this and why it's important to you.
Mental health is quite important to me because it's personal. I suffer with mental health and have done since I was 13 years of age. It's something I've struggled with my whole entire life. I'm now 38 years of age. Don't tell anybody. And I've spent a long time reflecting and spending a lot of time trying to work out my own behaviour because it just fascinates me. Mental health has always fascinated me, and I've done a lot of research around it, and I think it's always been really good for me to understand because mental health, although there's awareness now, we don't seem to hide it as much. It's still not at the level it needs to be. Awareness is one thing, but without understanding, it's nothing. We can all be aware that there's something, you know, there, but to know how to deal with it, to help people, to support people, to actually understand, that needs to happen. You know, people don't understand. They think it's just you're down in the dumps, or, you know, you're feeling a bit blue, snap out of it. But it really isn't, and it's important that I think as a whole entire world, that in these present times, that we concentrate on our mental health. It has to be number one priority now, because, you know, physical health is great. We all need to have physical health. We all need to eat well. We all need to do these things. Don't get me wrong, but you cannot do them things if you're depressed. You will not do them things if you're depressed. So doesn't that tell you something? That tells you we need to make sure we fix the first problem first, enabling people, and then the rest flows. So, you know, it's an important thing. And I think now more than ever, the world needs it. So I personally want to go out there and I want to do something about it. So I'm doing something about it. I'm going to college. I mean, I've already health and social care anyway, and nursing. So it's just extending upon that with mental health. And not only that, I want to get out there and not just sort of put awareness out there, but also put out understanding, helping people to cope. You know, people, families, and the people who are suffering. But I think I want to pursue, I want to be able to use that to create a hashtag, which I'm personally going to blog about my journey through mental health. Each day I will write a bit, starting from when I was younger, right up until present day. and I'm going to use the hashtag Mind Journey. And when I use that, I would love everybody to join me. And if you've got a personal journey, or you know somebody, you've got invaluable skills and coping mechanisms that you could share, you could save somebody's life, and that's important. So I want to try and use Tsu to be able to get that out there. And if you're feeling low, or you can't cope, or something, you know somebody who else is feeling low or can't cope, you click on that hashtag and have a good read. I guarantee you'll feel 100% better.
I think that's amazing. I think this comes back to telling our authentic stories and documenting our journeys, right? So you mentioned you're starting when you're young. It's actually something that I've been talking about on the social universe quite a bit, is my transformation. I'm sort of rebranding myself on social media across all platforms right now to offer a bit more transparency and talk a bit more about mental health myself, and not just, post a photo, but talk about the psychology behind it. Like, why did I post that photo? Or what is, for example, there was a moment where 2 years ago, I was like really trying to be a fit model because I was this close in one of my measurements to making $200 an hour to do this very specific job. And I couldn't quite get there. And I got so skinny, and like to anyone else, I would look really incredibly fit, but it was such a mind fuck to be doing that and like constantly trying to fit this like very specific measurement. So actually like posting the photo and talking about the experience behind that. So like, I am all on board for this. So hashtag Mind Journey, that is a challenge for any of you to participate in or use as a resource. So again, sort of if you're in a place where you're just not feeling great and you want to grab for some tools, not only could you grab onto any of the challenges that we've issued previously and are continuing to issue, but you could also check out this hashtag Mind Journey. Mind Journey? I already lost it. You can also check out Mind Journey and to find out how other people have been navigating this. And so, we're all coming together in this way and using social media for good. The next thing I want to say, and this goes back to Tony now, is it sounds like you're setting goals, which when Tony and I first started working together, one of the first things that we did, aside from our sort of starter session where he kind of taught me some of the other stuff that we would be doing, the homework that I'd be doing on my own, we got very clear on what my goals were. And it sounds like you each have goals. So Tony, the fact that you are going to sort of be here to get to, or to support Panky in his journey, in his quitting smoking experience, from the goal setting, like, where are you going to, it's very different, but not really from sort of my journey and sort of, right, I've set this goal now of I want to create, sell, and star in my television show. And then you have quitting smoking. So they seem like very different goals, but the process to achieve them is actually quite similar, right, Tony?
Absolutely, Sarah. So to get why we set a goal in the first place is to be able to narrow the focus of our conscious mind. So we don't have a real big conscious mind, and it can't take in too much information. Like, it can't actually sort too much information. So just to understand that, we can cope with 3 people talking to us at once, and our conscious mind is full. And you've got to understand how much stuff that's going on around us. So you've got a whole heap of situations that are going on around us. If we don't focus our mind, it's not going to focus in on the task at hand. So the first goal is to actually, the first thing is to get your goals so you can actually focus on what you really want to do. Biggest problem most people have is they wouldn't know exactly what they want to do. So if we've got this goal, we can, and it's written down, and we get up in the morning and literally go over what we're doing that day and how we're going to reach that goal, that's going to be a start of the focus area. Like, as you would know, Sarah, it's it's the focusing in on that goal and allowing you to understand what is going to help you reach that goal is the benefit in just being able to do that morning and evening, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think this would be the perfect time to sort of announce that Tony is also issuing a challenge, which is the hashtag We Transcend Challenge. And he's going to be guiding all of you through sort of a process on what you can do sort of once you've goal set. And talk to us a little bit about the We Transcend Challenge and how people can utilize this, Tony.
Well, pretty much I'm here to assist and support people with anything to do with high performance. So if you have depression or anxiety or anything like that, the first I have to say, I'm not a health professional. Like I'm a high performance specialist. But the benefit to that is to be high performing, the side effect is better mental health. So just got to get that out of the road to start with. But if anything to do with We Transcend and the We Transcend Challenge, it's to do with getting you better at what you're doing. And I agree, it all starts in the mind. So it's the first place that we can go. So if we can start to understand what's happening up here, why it happens up here, we can then start to change our the underlying behaviour that is causing it. So the We Transcend Challenge is going to be about getting people to perform better in their day-to-day life, whether that be an actress who wants to sell a show, a mother who wants to be a better mother, someone who wants to give up smoking. Tips and tools to be able to get around and be able to follow through on those goals.
What I've learned from you, I think, too, is that the mind is like a muscle, right? In the sense that you have to train your muscles at the gym. So it's like you have to train your mind to be able to do things. And these are just various tools that you can implement to do so. And it really just starts on getting clear on what your goal or goals are. So I don't know. I see a lot of busy chatter in the chat right now. Tell us what your goals are. Throw out a goal in there for all of us so we can make this sort of a collaborative conversation. I want to know in the chat, tell me right now, what's one of your goals? I don't care if you set it as a New Year's resolution, if you're just making it up now, but let us know in the chat, what is one of your goals? And therefore you have gotten clear on maybe what something is that you can now apply the We Transcend method to, or your mind journey to, or the RethinkFIT initiative to. So once again, I'm going to circle back to remind you all, these are all different challenges that are here on Tsu. So be sure if you're checking any of them out or participating in any of them, you're using relevant hashtags so that your stories and posts are discoverable and searchable. We're really just looking for you to share your progress, to get creative, to step outside your comfort zone. It's about feeling better and healing and transforming. Maybe it's pursuing a passion, or just shifting your mindset. So these challenges exist to help you help yourself. And we are all here to offer encouragement and support. For instance, we are all going to support Panky on his quitting smoking journey. So maybe, Panky, your challenge is just your challenge within yourself. It's to show up on Tsu every day and document how you're feeling, or what tools you're implementing, or what challenge you tried from RethinkFIT that you're reaching for today, to help you quit smoking. Do you have a hashtag, Panky, that you're using in your quitting smoking journey?
I think I'm actually using Panky's journey, hashtag Panky's journey.
I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
I think that's great. I'm going to read a couple comments from the chat. So Kathy Hull is learning Inkscape. Okay. Oh, Kathy, I don't even know what Inkscape is. So I'm going to learn what Inkscape is after this. Well, he says, My goal is to set goals because I never actually do. I love that. That's a great goal.
Yes.
So good. What an amazing first step, Wahid. And then there's just like love and support coming in. Kathy says it's graphic design. That's awesome. So, I think, again, this is just a place for people to get started to take their power back and sort of taking an action in their own life adventures to feel better. And there's a couple of other things I want to shout out. So in addition to making sure that you mention RethinkFIT and using the relevant hashtags, I've been mentioning this on the show a bunch, but I think this is the perfect opportunity to re-mention Panky and Charlie's CashReview blog. Okay, so this is not only a place where people can learn about Tsu, how to make money, get, their feet acclimated, get their fingers acclimated, get their whereabouts on this site for how to make money and how to engage. But all the hashtags are listed there. So any challenge that you want to engage and get involved in this community, that is a great starting place for you to go. So you can simply search at CashReview on Tsu, and then under there's a number of blog posts. You can click on any one of them, sort of focusing on the subject that you want to focus on, whether it's, again, sort of how to make money on Tsu, the actual, things behind that, how the dividend structure works, that sort of thing, or whether it's to engage your community, participate in the challenges and the hashtags. CashReview is a great place to start. And RethinkFIT has launched their website, which is www.rethinkfit.social. It is an official site where you guys can go to choose your adventure of challenges, right? This is a choose your own adventure. So you can also use this place to submit your challenge if you're hosting any. So if you come up with something and you want to get the word out, you can check out www.rethinkfit.social and try to inspire others. Have it stem from something that you are working through, your own stories, your own experience, because that's ultimately what we want to fill the space with here on Tsu. We want this. This is already such a supportive community. I have all the guests coming on here that are basically like, maybe I came for the money, but I stayed because it's positive. I stayed because it's supportive. I stayed because it's genuine and people actually want to get to know each other. And so that's what we're continuing to foster here. We're continuing to sort of make this a place where people can do good, right? Where you leave social media actually feeling better about yourself, which is actually something we'll continue to talk about in our next segment, Social Media Futures with Sugar Free Coach. Tony, I'm circling back to you now. So any sort of final thoughts on what people can do, actionable items? Maybe they've picked their goal in the chat. Maybe they're still thinking about it. What are some ways that, what are the first 3 things or a couple of things that they can do to sort of get started in this?
I would like to actually talk to Panky if I could, because
yes, talk to Panky,
because he's got his goal right. He wants to quit smoking. So any type of behaviour, any type of habit it's a trigger behaviour reward response in the body. So there's going to be something that actually triggers his need to want to put a cigarette in his mouth. I just want him to start to get aware of what is the underlying feelings that are going on when he wants to put a cigarette in his mouth. Because there's a trigger before he actually does the action, and then there's the reward that he gets for the action. So we need to, and if we look at habit, we can then change the behaviour in the middle, and we can keep the reward. So we can actually just start switching out. But we've got to understand why we're doing this stuff. And you would know, Sarah, how much of the our underlying behaviour is subconscious now. So 95 to 99%. 99 to 95% of the behaviour we do is actually below our awareness. So why we want to have the goal, we want to be able to narrow the focus on what we want to get done. That brings it into our awareness. We're going to be focusing on everything that goes around that particular behaviour. And then when we can start to work out the emotional things that are underneath the surface that cause us to do that behavior, we can start to, every time we catch that behavior in the future, we will then start to get rid of the underlying unconscious behavior that we're working on. But we've got to become aware of the unconscious behavior. So that's my suggestion, is to be very focused on the emotional states that come up when you want to put that cigarette in your mouth. And that's when you start writing those things down. And you'll after a process of time, you'll then start to find a pattern that goes along with it. There'll be certain things that you'll go, oh, that's the pattern that I'm running through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So have your goal, make sure your goal's written out. Literally write your goal down. Stick it somewhere where you wake up in the morning and you see your goal. And last thing before you go to bed, you see your goal and reiterate your goal. And then start looking at the underlying subconscious behaviors that are drawing you to do that. And that'll get you on your journey in understanding why you do what you do. Because 15 years, it's a pretty good habit, right?
Yeah, I've done quite well.
Yeah, so think about going to the gym for that amount of time. So
that'll be huge.
You get how good at it. You know, like a professional athlete who trains for 15 years, they're pretty good, right?
I'm a pretty good smoker.
Yeah, it's a pretty good. You've just developed a really good habit. And this is what I mean. The first thing you want to do. The other thing is not to beat yourself up.
No,
because we fall down in our smallest habit changes. So if we can just be kind to ourselves, deal with the situation as they come up, and get back on the horse and go again, right? Because so that's what I'd recommend, is to, when you have your goal, and everyone out there is the same, when you have your goal, if it is giving up something or is it you're trying to create something new, there's going to be a bunch of unconscious behaviors that are driving you. So we need to start changing those unconscious behaviors. And that's what I teach people, how to change those unconscious behaviors. So that's a little bit more in depth, but it's a good way to be able to become aware of them.
Okay.
So it's a lot of taking pen to paper, and if anyone's tuned into any of the sessions that I've done with Tony, they know by now I've literally written my own self-help book. It's it's almost 70 pages at this point.
Wow.
In all the writing that I've done. And I can tell you that the shift that's happened is, it's watchable. So at some point here on Tsu, we'll have a library of all the episodes, so you can go back and watch it if you'd like and see sort of the transformation that's taking place. But by doing writing, you start to recognize the patterns of behavior. You start to look at your intention behind things, or the things that your mind is predicting based on past experiences, things that happened, prior to the age of 10, usually, or feelings that you've picked up on that weren't even yours to begin with. Maybe they were your parents. And so it just helps you get clear and aware so that you can then begin to make a change. So yeah, the actual writing out of the goal, and then starting to just make note of those feelings, literally pen to paper, or you can use a Google Doc. That's what I did. Is definitely like the most helpful tool, for sure. And then I should probably circle back to you, Jeff and Mindy, for any final thoughts on this segment, for this wonderful little panel / discussion that we've put together.
It's very cool watching this and listening to the conversation, because here's an opportunity for, if somebody has a stimulus, they have a reaction to something, or something comes to their awareness. Now that awareness, they can take a step. So there's different challenges, there's different things that they can do. But right here, we saw that Panky wanted to do something, had the awareness that he's going to quit smoking, incorporate that into a challenge, found the ability to have the community be there to support him through that, comes on the show here and now is getting actionable advice that he could take, and now he can continue on that journey. It's such a powerful way for someone to be able to change a habit or go on that transformation journey with having everybody around for support. So it was very cool to watch that all.
Yeah, I think just to add what Jeff's saying, it's kind of what John said in the last time we talked on this show, where it's rethink social media so that you actually come here to feel better and you leave feeling better. So it's about helping yourself, helping each other, and then everyone taking it back to their communities and helping their communities so that together everyone can rise up and feel good.
You know, I remember when that sort of hashtag Transformation Tuesday used to be really popular on other platforms, and I haven't really seen it used in a while. So if you all think back towards like Transformation Tuesday and people sharing about their weight loss journeys, this is so much more than that. But if it helps you wrap your mind around this, like that's what this is, like sharing that transformation from point A and then what you did to what it looks like at point B, and then the feelings and the experiences and the struggles and the motivational moments along the way. Like that is what we're looking for, but in so much more than just physical appearance. You know, again, it can be things like being a better mother or being a creative on a regular basis and actually pursuing a passion, or, you know, selling your television show or going back to school or whatever it is, you know, those journeys, those transformations, or maybe just implementing time to be quiet every day. Maybe that's your goal. Like, it doesn't matter what the goal is. It's that you have one, that you get clear on it, and then you start to document how you get there, the feelings along the way, the actions you're taking, and really start to dissect it and share it so that other people are inspired and motivated and can learn from you and be supported as well. And therefore you open yourself up to the opportunity to be supported, just like Panky's done, right? He's now opened an invitation for people to be there for him. Like, a lot of this is just about asking for help. So it's not all you. I was going to say Panky, but then I saw someone said Carl in the chat, so I'll say Carl. It's not all you, Carl. We're here too. You know, but like, that's the benefit to being able to show this on social media. The fact that you, especially here on Tsu, where everyone really is so supportive and everyone really does want to cheer you on. So we encourage all of you to support Panky, aka Carl. Go support him, follow along in his journey. Panky's journey, hashtag Panky's journey, right? Then we have hashtag Mind Journey, right? That's what Charlie's starting, which is going to be documenting her mental health journey from when she was little. I will be adding to that as well. And then there's so many other challenges. I'm telling RethinkFIT right now to repost them. Make sure you all go check them out on RethinkFIT's page. They will also be up on CashReview, so you can check them out there. So many places that you can find any of the hashtags that we started, any of these challenges, and take them yourself and share your journey so that I can bring you back on this show and hear about your experience. And maybe we'll bring Tony back, and Tony can walk you through some additional tools in the We Transcend method, things that we've done one-on-one in our Wednesday segment. So lots of support, lots of motivation and inspiration coming from here. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see what everyone has, and just make sure you continue to mention RethinkFIT so that we can find you and bring you on the show and support you in that way. So thank you all so much for coming on. Tony, at Tony Priddle, we've got at Panky, we've got at Pandora 83. Is that right? Okay, great. Yes. And then we have at RethinkFIT. Jeff and Mindy have their own too, but we'll just stick with RethinkFIT for now. And thank you guys so much for watching and joining in this conversation. We will be right back with social media futures.